Now, one of the things that Acumatica built into the system was a concept of backflushing in production orders. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with the concept of backflushing, it eliminates the need to manually enter transactions to issue component materials to a production order. Backflushing will issue those components when you complete production on the order. It saves time in data entry, and it also provides a control that keeps people from issuing incorrect items in incorrect quantities. The one thing that the Acumatica addressed in 22R1 is the ability for a user to over-report during an interim production step. They did this with a control point that's managed at the work center. So we'll take a look at a couple of the work centers, and we'll see that they've added a checkbox where you can default a work center to be a control point. And what the control point does is it sets the quantity completed on operations at that work center to be an upper limit that following operations can report production. So we see here that the assembly work center does not have the control point flag checked. But if we look at our cutting operation, the cutting work center does have the control point flag checked, and that's going to set the quantity that's available for subsequent operations to complete. Now, this does carry over as you create bills of material based on the work center on the operation. So we can see for this particular product, the cutting operation is set as a control point. And as we look to compare operations and routings, we see that this item, the reservoir inlet, doesn't have any control points. And now we're going to take a look at how this flows through to the production reporting. I've created a production order number 90, and this is for an item that has the control point set. And to save some time in the demo, I've gone ahead and I've created a move entry on the first operation to show that there are 10 complete. And so if I go to create another move for this production order on the second operation, under the control point, if I try to overproduce on the second operation, now remember we created 10 on the first operation. If I try to produce more than 10 on the second operation, when I go to release it, I get an error message. It's either too large or too small. And so if I change that, it says here that my total quantity must be less than what was reported on my controlled operation number 10. So it won't let me produce that. Now, if we look at the production order for the original setup in Acumatica that doesn't use control points, we'll look at the production detail so that you can see that there are no control points set on the first operation. And on this first operation, we've also created a move of 10. So we've reported 10 on the first operation. Now, when we try to create a move on this production order for the second operation, and we try to overproduce, it allows us to do that because there was no control point set on the first operation. So here we reported a complete operation of 20, And if we go to finish the production order on another move transaction for here now, the third operation, and we're only reporting a 10 because that's the physical quantity that they're completing, it will let us go ahead and create the move transaction and release it. Where we can see that we have a problem is that if we look at the totals for the production order, we can see that we have a large variance because we reported more labor and materials than we did have in the planned bill of materials and production details. This control keeps us from making those errors and having to go back and create the correcting transactions. So Acumatica has taken a step to add more control and keep your production process from creating unnecessary correction work.